Wolf here with another Club Penguin Island update video, kind of. You guys might have noticed that I had a video that was like an update on Club Penguin Island stuff uploaded a couple days ago, but I took that down for a couple reasons, including, but not limited to, the fact that I was really tired when I recorded it and edited it. So there was a bunch of, like, it wasn't a bad video, but I kept repeating myself in it. And also, there was a few things that people brought up in the comments of that video that I didn't cover in that video. And I was gonna make another video on it, but I figured since I wanted to redo the other video anyway, I might as well just redo that video and add that stuff onto it and make, like, a revised version. So, to start off, I want to tell you guys about what happened was in the original Club Penguin Island dev menu video that I made, I talked about the dev menu, and some people, I think, well, maybe it was only one person, some people put in the comments of that video, hey, Wolf, there's new stuff on the dev menu that you should check out, and it was like a couple weeks after I'd made that video, and I remembered that there was a thing, and I tried to find it for the original version of this video, but I couldn't find it, a thing that, like, there was a website on the Club Penguin Island website. There was like a page on there that explained the dev menu and said something about there would be more stuff unlocked after a certain date. And I forgot about that because that stuff was unlocked like a while after the game had already shut down. So I don't know why they decided to release it like that, to like make everybody wait till like a good, I think it was at least a month after the game shut down to do this stuff, but whatever. So anyway, yeah, if you go into the dev menu, which is the tilde key, and it's under the network settings, there's the new web services tab. I believe that this is the new part because news, game server, and content were all there if I remember right. So if you go to web services, and also I explained the stuff on the first page in the first video if you want to learn about that stuff, there's these 4 new tabs. I'm going to kind of try to explain what I'm pretty sure all of those do. So the login and the login part 2, whenever you logged into Club Penguin Island, you were actually technically logging into like 2 accounts because you had, this one right here says, the login part 2, why do we need 2 endpoints for this? I guess Disney accounts are somewhat complicated, which is true, because in fact when you're logging into a Disney account for Club Penguin Island, I think you're actually logging into 2 accounts, because I don't know how many of you guys remember, but when you made your Club Penguin Island account, you had to have a Disney account also. So the login and login part 2, so far as I know, one would be for the like overarching Disney account that you would use for not only Club Penguin Island but other games. And the other part of the login would be for the information that specifically pertains to Club Penguin Island, which I'll get to in a minute when I explain like how you would set up a Club Penguin Island private server, why all that would come into play. Anyway though, then under the game tab, it just says everything gameplay related. I think that's more of one of those things like that in sort of in the previous video I brought it up how it was one of those ones that I didn't really get, but I think has to do with like database stuff. And then account management and friend tracking, again, more database management type stuff. So, that brings me to the next point, which is how do online video games work and how to make a Club Penguin Island private server. Now, I kind of hate myself because I actually deleted all the stuff for the original video, including all those drawings I had, so I'm going to have to redo all the drawings for this part. But it's okay, because it's important information. So, to make a Club Penguin Island private server, let me explain first how online video games work. So, a lot of you guys probably are familiar with the term server and the term database and stuff like that. So, to put it simply, whenever you're playing an online video game, all of the stuff you're doing and all the stuff other players are doing is getting sent from your computer or your PlayStation or your Xbox or whatever you're playing on to a server, and then that server is doing all the calculations to mix everything all together so it all looks nice, and then sends it back to computers, back to your computer and everybody else's computer. So what that means is if you were to type something in the chat, or, you know, oh, I moved my penguin around, stuff like that, what's happening is all of that, your computer is processing that, saying, okay, here is what my player is doing. My player just moved his penguin around in a circle and typed, like, hello in the chat. And so the game would, your computer would package all that up pretty much and like send it to the server, be like, hey, my penguin just moved around in a circle and said hello, and the server's going to say, okay, Pengston just moved around in a circle and said hello, and then it's going to take that, along with everything else that everybody else is doing at that moment, and send it off to everybody's computers. So if there was another player here, I don't know, let's like use Antarctic as an example. If she was another player, like actually playing the game, and she said something or whatever, their computer would say, oh, Antarctic said something, it sent it to the server, and then the server would send it to my computer, and then whatever she said would pop up. So, that's how video games pretty much work. Now, databases come into play because they're pretty much attached to servers for the most part. Databases are where all the information is stored, so it's similar to sort of all the calculations that are done when you're playing a video game. So like when you go to log in, this is probably the best example of how a database works. When you go to log in, you type in your username and password, and your computer says, hey, here's the username that my player is trying to use, and here's the password that they're saying is attached to it. Is this right? And it sends it off to the server, and the server looks, and it says, okay, that username, and it'll say, do I have this username or do I not have this username? If it has the username, then it'll go on to the next step of checking for the password. If it doesn't have the username, it'll come back and be like, uh-oh, you don't have the right username. This user doesn't exist. Try a different username. But if you do have a username that exists, then it goes to check for the password, and it says, okay, does this password match the one that I have on record of being associated to this account? And if it says, if it is, it'll let you log in. If not, it'll tell you, oh, you have the wrong password, you need to try again. So that's how a database works. It stores all that sort of information. It's also how, like, all of your information on how many coins you have, what items you have, all that stuff is stored, because the game, like, when you log in, it'll be like, oh, you're playing as Pengston. Pengston has all of this stuff, so we got to give him all of this stuff back, sort of. That's why sometimes in video games on consoles or whatever, they can get into a little, like, not consoles, but sometimes in other video games, why they get into a little bit of trouble when data is stored on the side of the computer, because if it's stored on a computer, on the player's computer, then sometimes people can cheat and edit that and say that they have like more items than they do or whatever. If it's stored on the server, it can't be edited by the player, so that's like another security thing. It's also like how I'm pretty sure that chat would work, because if you, for example, if you're in Club Penguin Island, part of the reason, that's why you can log into Club Penguin Island with any password, because there's no way for it to check, it just automatically approves it. So you can type in like literally like 5 spaces as your password and log in, it doesn't matter. It's also why you can use any username or any password to log in, because there's no way for it to actually check and see, oh, is this an actual penguin or not. It'll just like pop you in as a generic new penguin if you use a username that wasn't already active in the original Club Penguin Island. But it's also why, not to sound dumb, but why you can swear in Club Penguin Island offline, because there's no way for the game to send your chat off to a server to make sure you're not swearing. So that's why you can type swear words into the chat in Club Penguin Island and not get in trouble, because there's no way for the game to check that you're actually swearing or not. So that's how all that stuff works. Now, on to the next thing. How would one set up a Club Penguin Island private server? Well, the server program used for, and I can show you guys this kind of, the server program used for Club Penguin Island is a program called SmartFox. That's why they have this little thing in the network tab on the game server thing. Hopefully some SmartFox can figure this out. SmartFox is a server program that is used for a bunch of games. It was used for Club Penguin Island. On the website, they say it was used for the original Club Penguin. It was used for a ton of different games, and I mean, it still is used. So the thing is, it would need to probably be set up through SmartFox. I'm sure you could probably use another program, but since it was originally set up with SmartFox, it would make more sense to use SmartFox. I tried to look into this myself one time, I couldn't figure it out, but in order to make a Club Penguin private server, Club Penguin Island private server, what somebody would need to do would be able to set up a SmartFox server that's compatible with Club Penguin Island. They would have to set up databases with usernames and passwords and all of that sort of stuff. That's like why when you register for a Club Penguin private server, the original Club Penguin, those registration screens are on another website, because when you register, it's sending all that information off to the database, so that way when you actually go to play the game, it's already, the info for your username and password is already in that database. So, what somebody would need to do to make Club Penguin Island private server, like I said, they need to set up the server, and they need to set up a database that held usernames and passwords, that held like friends lists, that held items. If they wanted to have like a safe chat, they would need to set up a database that had words that aren't allowed, all that sort of stuff. But once somebody had the server and the database set up, in theory it would be pretty easy to connect. All you need to do would be to tell people to go into their game server tab, type in the server here, restart their game, and log in with a Penguin username and password that are on the database as like approved, and they would be able to log in and play with other people because the server would be set up. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of experience with actually doing any of that, so that's more of one of those things that I'm just kind of giving a basic overview of how it works, but I don't really know how to get into technical details. But I probably don't have to, because that's pretty much where the original version of this video ended. However, some people in the comments were telling me about how there's already Club Penguin Island private servers, and actually, while the video was originally exporting, I figured out that there was Club Penguin Island private servers. So there's 2 servers right now that I know of that are Club Penguin Island private servers, and there are Club Penguin Island Forever and Club Penguin Island Continued. Only thing is, in order to register for either of them, it's kind of a pain, because Club Penguin Island Continued, I couldn't really find a way to register except on Discord, and I don't have a Discord account anymore. And Club Penguin Island, yeah, Club Penguin Island Continued was like that. Club Penguin Island Forever, I tried to register. You register through Twitter on there, and they have like a support bot Twitter that like will answer your questions, and I went through and I filled everything out, and then I sent a picture of my player card to them because they said to send a picture of the player card, and then it said that they would get back to me, and they never got back to me, and it's been about a week since I did that. Like, well, yeah, just about a week since I did that, really. And so I don't really know. So like there are Club Penguin Island private servers that exist. It's just sort of a pain to actually register for them, and I don't know if either of them will actually even let people register, because I wasn't able to really seem to get registered for either. But nonetheless, it just sort of goes to prove that this is in fact a thing, and if I do manage to get registered or connect to one of these servers or whatever, then I will definitely make another video about it and everything. But otherwise, that's pretty much all that I have for now. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry that the other video got deleted if you guys really liked it, but I think I covered pretty much all the same information and more in this one. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in future videos. Bye-bye.